Hi everyone. If you drive 90 minutes out of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, you will reach Indented Head, beautiful beach area. And on that beach, sitting in the surf, is a rusted paddle wheel. That is the only visible reminder above the surface of the once grand and speedy paddle steamer Ozone. And this is the ship that we're going to be looking at today. The Ozone was once known as the Greyhound of Port Phillip Bay. And between 1886 and 1889, it absolutely dominated the bay. This was the era when excursion steamers was the latest and greatest thing to do on weekends. Families wanted to get away over the weekends. They had the time, they had the money, and without cars around, one of the best ways of getting out for a day or two would be to take the excursion steamers to some of the other surrounding towns in the bay, and particularly to escape the humidity. Entering service in 1886, the Ozone had been built in Glasgow and had a turbulent voyage from Scotland to Melbourne, Victoria. And from the get-go, it was advertised that this ship would be speedy and fast. Unfortunately, on its maiden voyage, the only thing it managed to do was smash into the Queenscliff Pier. Eventually, however, the Ozone was able to establish a speedy reputation, beating the previous Queen of the Bay, the Lonsdale, and in 1889 was engaged in a series of races with the new Queen of the Bay, the propeller-driven Courier. And in the tradition that stretches from the Mississippi to the Derwent and to essentially anywhere where there are two rival steamship companies, races occurred. And both the Ozone and the Courier would try and outmatch each other across the bay. Thankfully, no incidents happened, but in 1889 it was decided that for the safety of everyone involved and for the reputation of all the companies, the races would be discontinued. And so the honor of being the Greyhound of the Bay was passed on to the Courier, which you can see is here. I've depicted the Ozone with a black hull, as some illustrations have shown it. Also, according to Fitchcott's book, the Ozone at one point had a beautiful green hull. Two additional paddle steamers entered the fleet. There was the Hygeia and the Wiruna. And these composed the main fleet that would take excursionists and their families across the bay for decades. The Ozone was in service for 39 years, and by then the ship was thoroughly worn out. The economies were changing. There were different forms of transport, different pastimes were being popular, and so the ship was withdrawn from service, stripped of anything that was salvageable, and left to rot away at Indented Head, where, as time has passed by, the hull has gradually collapsed, and when I last photographed it, the paddle wheel was still standing proud. You can swim out to the wreck, you can dive off it, you can snorkel around it, so the wreck is within reach and fun to explore. And if you'd like to learn more about not just the Ozone, but Australian shipwrecks in general, may I recommend humbly my book, the link for which is down below. And if you want more information about the various ships on Port Phillip Bay, including the Ozone and its various speed records, then do check out Down the Bay by T.K. Fitchett.